Hello and welcome.
Hi, everybody.
How are you guys doing?
Great.
Good.
Yeah. I'm sick still.
Oh,
Hey guys, I wanted to start the show by acknowledging that we lost Dr. Meldrum today from ISU Pocatello.
What?
He died today. Hey, Pac-Man. Quite a loss to the research, the cryptid research out there. Dr. Meldrum had probably I think he had the most research out there, and he was well respected in the cryptid community, and just want to acknowledge his loss and give our prayers to his family and friends. He was supposed to be the Phenomenon and obviously couldn't make it. So,
because
I took a class from him many years ago.
Yeah, I saw some signs up at work that said he was sick, and that was it. And then he was supposed to be teaching some classes this week and last week, and I hadn't seen him. So
I don't know. So we let Mud Lover and Mad Max. There they are. Our screen. We keep losing people. So anyway, I'm glad, Pac-Man, that you have a picture with him. I saw it today, actually. But yeah, so our hearts go out to the university, to his family, his friends, his colleagues, people who respected, admired his work. Rest in peace, Dr. Meldrum. So, and we are going to start changing up our format a little bit. I think you guys are going to like our new format change. We're going to start. We may devolve into our new format in this show. Who knows? But we're going to be a little looser with our format. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. But we do have ghost ships on the platter tonight. So and I know that several of you decided that. I mean, the Edmund Fitzgerald, is that classified as a ghost ship?
Yes.
Yeah, you classified as a ghost ship. Was it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, and this was a fairly recent event, right?
Oh, yeah, it was it's so funny because when we were talking about doing this, I was like, man. And then all of a sudden, I kid you not, you guys, the Edmund Fitzgerald comes on the radio.
Oh,
and I was like,
amazing.
Yeah, I love Gordon Lightfoot.
Mm-hmm.
He did an amazing job on the song. He definitely felt bad about there was like no, he felt bad for the 29 souls that were lost on the ship. And there was not really a lot of memorial for them at that time. And so he wrote a song about it. I mean, he did change up the lyrics quite a bit, but he did an amazing song.
It is a great song. What is the actual story? What happened to the Edmund Fitzgerald?
So, it launched in 1958. It was like 729 feet long. So she was a pretty big ship. She was actually the pride of the Great Lakes Fleet for nearly 2 decades. She was an iron ore carrier, so she would carry ore to Lake Superior. And it's funny because the sailors would call her the Big Fitz, the Big Fitz, which is kind of an awkward name, or even the Titanic of the West. So, sure, her speed records were crazy. When they say that they were going to be there like in 2 weeks, they were there in a week. So it was like the captain of the ship didn't mess around, So it launched. The first launch was June 7th in 1958. Of course, she was the largest ship, and she still remains the largest ship that sunk there. Wow. She was located in November 14th in 1975. And so she was carrying a full cargo on the way to, they say, like I think it was Detroit is what they were going to. She was in Lake Superior, near Duluth is what they said. On the afternoon of November 9th, 1975, she was en route to Detroit, like I said. And the captain was radioing. It was like shortly after like 7:10 p.m. And there was like you couldn't hear him. And he was just saying, we're taking water. We're holding our own, basically, is what he was saying. And it was Captain Ernest McSorley was his name. And that was his last radio call, was at 7:10. And minutes later, the ship disappeared from radar. So that's when 29 men vanished into the, basically, in Lake Superior. There was a storm brewing. So there's a lot of speculation of what happened. They said that there was a storm brewing. By nightfall, it became one of the worst gales the lake has ever seen. And I'm sure if anybody's been there to the Great Lakes, they're like an inner sea, basically. It's like an enclosed sea, right?
Huge. Yeah.
Huge. Like you stand next to, I think it was you, Colleen, that you told me that you stand next to the lakes and it's like you don't know if you're next to the sea or not. That's how big it is.
They're enormous. Mad Max, do you have more information on that? On this
so,
one?
Yeah, it's funny. I remember in school going through this stuff and Lake Superior, like Jesse was saying, it's like an ocean, but that is the biggest of the lakes, of the Great Lakes, number one. Number two, and there's something about Lake Superior because it does generate its own weather. So I would just wonder if there was something else going on there. But
go ahead. I was just saying they speculated there was like a huge like what do they call them, swales or something like that?
Squalls.
Squalls. And yeah, they're saying that it was like huge. They called it often the Three Sisters. And those are kind of like the three rogue waves is what they were talking about. That's one of the theories.
This is Lake Superior, and it's enormous.
Yeah. Well, they also talked about, it was only rated. They said they were rated for like 26 ton, and the boat was actually carrying over 26 ton. They were way deep in the water. And I guess the water line wasn't even showing. That's how deep they were in the water. And it's funny because a couple things. They said that the boat actually is in two large pieces.
Yeah.
And it's when it broke apart, because most boats, they don't break into two pieces. They get breached and they go down. But this boat was so heavy and sitting so low in the water that when they breached, that the way the oar pulled out is the way the boat actually broke into two pieces. They also talked about it's illegal to dive on this shipwreck. Do you know why?
Is it because of the iron that's down there?
I'm sorry?
Is the iron?
No. There's still bodies on there.
Oh, that's right.
And
that's right. They never recovered them.
Right. They never recovered them. So it is illegal to dive on this boat. And apparently,
is that common for every shipwreck with bodies?
No, I don't think so on every shipwreck. I can only speak to this one. They said that there were a lot of theories about it. They talked about the whole structure was already compromised. They talked about it bottoming out in shallow water. Everybody's got a theory that goes on.
I did watch a documentary on this, Max, and one of them, there's hatches on the deck here, big hatches. Right. And when they went down with cameras and found it, the couple of the hatches were open.
Oh yeah.
that they think that they opened somehow in those big swales. It flung the doors open and they took in so much water, along with them being so overloaded that it didn't stand a chance.
Yeah.
Oh.
And it's funny that you say that, because they did say that there were secured hatch covers, or poorly secured hatch covers, that allowed the water to flood the hold.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
and I know boats are actually designed, some boats are actually designed to take on water like that, because that helps with the buoyancy. But I mean, if you are in the middle of a storm and your boat's kind of floundering anyway, and you're taking on too much water, that's just a recipe for disaster right there.
Yeah.
Well,
They said
if they're
that-
overloaded too, their bow is too low to be able to come
Right.
up those swales, so they cut into the swales.
And that's what the Coast Guard said in their report, that it nosedived.
Yeah.
And so those swells or rogue waves or whatever you're going to call them, they hit it so hard that the boat. Now I've seen pictures of boats friggin' coming up on a wave and then diving all the way on the backside, and I'm sure you've lived that. And I've seen them coming out of that friggin' wave. No, hold on, no, not going to happen. But yeah, that's what they said.
Yeah.
So pretty interesting stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy when I see pictures. Like I watch a show, Deadliest Catch, and stuff like that, and I see some of these big whales that they have. I'm like, it looks like just complete black,
Right?
And this little tiny boat, and I'm like, no thanks.
Yeah.
But you got it. You look about that stuff. Those guys, they're all. I haven't watched in a long time, but. They always used to trash talk each other and this, that, and that guy's whatever. But if there was a problem, those guys were moving towards them. So also, you got to give a shout out to the friggin' Coast Guard for making rescues off those boats. Those guys are nuts anyway.
Our coasties are, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
So,
go ahead.
Yeah,
so
those
I know
guys
they brought up the bell. A
Yes.
few years back, they had a ceremony.
Yeah.
All of the names inscribed on a big
Right.
plaque, a monument marker now, and they did a ceremony with the families. And is there paranormal activity around that bell now? Have you guys read anything on it?
That would be awesome to know. So 2025 actually marks the 50th anniversary of the sinking of this, and probably the singing of the song, but the sinking, and they were going to have a swim to commemorate the lost crew and complete their intended route to Detroit.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
So, once again, no, not going to do it.
No.
Jesse,
No, thanks. Oh, I was going to tell you guys a fun fact about Messy Jessie here. I was going to sail away at one time. I was going to join the Coast Guard when I was younger.
Oh.
Obviously, that didn't happen, but yeah, I do respect what they do, because I don't think I could. Yeah, I changed my mind after a minute. I was like, yeah, no.
I used to work with a guy that was on a fast boat. And he has a record for, and I guess they were chasing bad guys down. And he actually, they teach him to shoot across the bow. And they had fallen back a little bit, and the boat just stopped. And what happened was one of his shots actually went right through the motor, right through the middle of the motor, and killed the bad guy's boats. So pretty interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Electronic techs that I worked with in the Navy, they were our technicians for the air traffic control, the tower and radar, but they ended up getting a new gig, and they were stationed down in Florida on a boat undercover for drug surveillance. Cushy gig, man. They had their music on and they were fishing all day long, but they were actually DEA agents.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a pretty sweet gig. Yeah.
That's a pretty good gig. Did you know? Excuse me. That when the boat ended up on the bottom, that the bow came to rest upright, and the stern rolled over, and it landed upside down in the water, or down on the floor.
Wow.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of like the Titanic and how she sank, because didn't she split into two, and then the bow went down, and then she went.
No.
So
she went nose down, and then eventually she took on so much water that the end of the ship couldn't take it anymore, and it snapped in half, and then floated down separately.
Isn't that when Leonardo was swimming away?
Yeah.
Swim really hard. Swim really hard.
Hold your breath, Rose.
There was enough room for two people on that door, Rose.
I know. What was wrong with Rose? Oh my God.
She's all, I really love you, and she's peeling his fingers off. I really love you.
I'll be rich. I have the heart in my pocket.
You guys, don't make me laugh. I'll just start coughing all over again.
In my pocket.
Can you imagine? She's watching. She's looking at the door, and he's just watching her like, you bitch. You did that to me.
It's no worse than me getting a tattoo at the Titanic.
Yeah, that would be haunting enough.
Yeah,
that would be haunting enough.
Sorry.
You know what's funny is, and I know that we've talked about this before, but the funny thing about it is, we've pretty much been all over the world, except the water. And I think the percentage was like we've only investigated, what was it, like 20% of the ocean?
Yeah.
And that's incredible to me.
We don't have the technology to go that deep.
Yeah.
Because the pressure is so severe, it'll crush everything.
The aliens do. They have that technology.
Exactly. They do.
Exactly.
I believe they have like a secret hidden thing in the trench.
Mariana Trench?
Yeah.
Secret bases.
There's secret bases.
Phenomenon, there was a couple of speakers that talked about that on that. They had the Ancient Alien panel where they had the Ancient Aliens crew, and then they had Dr. Travis Taylor up there, and I think Jay Stratton up there, right? And they were all talking about the connection with water and how they believe that, they have whatever technology they need to be able to go to these to go to these depths. And it's pretty interesting to listen to them talk this year. So on some of their connections. Mm-hmm.
Man, can you imagine the creatures that are in there?
Yeah, spooky.
I watch a lot of nature documentaries, and some of the most creepiest ones are the ones where they go like really deep, like what do they call it, the midnight zone. It's so dark down there.
Dark.
They've got creatures that look like they haven't evolved in millions of years, but they're still down there.
They haven't evolved. They're just down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is they talk about some of those fish have friggin' lights built in front of them so they can see where they're going.
I was just thinking that. I was like, do.
Can you imagine that?
It's not for them. The light's not for them.
That's right. There's a fish, and I can't remember its name, but anytime that there's going to be like a substantial underground earthquake or even an earthquake outside, the ocean starts getting churned up, and they will actually, I want to say, what are they, tube fish or something?
Oarfish.
Is that what it is, the oarfish?
The oarfish, yeah.
And they'll start recovering them, and they're not even supposed to be, they're like super deep fish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, when things are going to go bad, that's kind of like a harbinger.
Yeah. I've seen that in Japan. If they find an oarfish on shore or washed up on the beach, it's a sign that there's an earthquake coming.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
Pretty interesting stuff. You know what's funny is especially like I said out there. Remember the movie The Abyss?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you remember? Go ahead. You know my lover.
I did.
Okay. Do you remember the 31st of? Okay. Anyway.
21st night of September.
What?
But anyway, in the
I'm not
movie The
gonna sing.
Abyss,
I'm not singing.
in the Birdie will sing. But they talked about, so when he actually came on board in that alien ship, he was puking all the water back up because he had trained himself for the mammalian reflex, right? Because we are as infants or as fetuses, we only breathe water.
Yeah.
So they say that we actually have they call it a mammalian reflex. So, and I've never heard of anybody doing it, but in that movie, they actually had him breathing water when he was so deep. And I can't remember the guy's name. But yeah, I remember him taking the helmet off, and I had a near-death experience with one of those helmets one time.
Mm-hmm.
But and he's vomiting all that water out, and he's talking to the aliens. So we can't discount. As a matter of fact, down in Southern California, off of Malibu, down by a little bit farther, Santa Monica-ish, there's supposed to be an underground base where these UFOs, they'll see them land out in the ocean, and they'll track them, and then they'll just disappear.
Oh wow!
So,
Yeah.
pretty interesting stuff.
Yeah.
I wonder if we really could breathe water if we just panic too much.
Right. And it's true because Rob Lowe did a show about it.
Right.
Oh.
So if Rob Lowe, it's called the Lowe Files, and they did like 6 episodes.
So good.
And that was the last one. It was funny. Theme song was "Don't Fear the Reaper."
Oh yeah.
Did your curtain just open up behind you, Mad Max?
That's what I was just looking at. I was like,
did your curtain just open up behind you?
Your curtain just opened behind you.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to peel back all by itself.
I was just like,
huh.
Really? I didn't notice.
I did.
Wow, you guys were on it. Huh, Max? You got somebody in there?
Yes.
Is that Uncle Fred?
Yes.
Dead Uncle Fred. Well, I'm in a motel room, so
yeah,
a lot of things happen in motel rooms. A lot of people end themselves in motel rooms. But thank you. Thanks, Bird.
Go back. We're gonna have to go back. So that would have been at 23 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my.
It did. Like I see it open like this. And I was gonna say something. I thought, well, maybe he moved it.
Yeah.
Wow.
There it goes again.
Oh, that's the air conditioner.
Oh.
Debunked.
Oh,
debunked.
Oh my god.
I'm coming, Elizabeth. I'm coming.
That was awesome.
That was so awesome. I love it.
Wow. You couldn't play that at a better time. Seriously, my dude.
Oh my God,
He's like, what?
I would have really lost it if you got it, like if you stood up and just punched your curtain. Just
he would have too. He'd be like, "Ugh, I'm trying to do a show."
Shut up! Oh my god. That's
Speaking
awesome.
of hauntings, did you guys find anything about like sightings of the Fitzgerald?
I didn't look
like phantom sightings.
I did. Yes,
you did?
I did. Oh my gosh. So
cool.
there's been a lot going on, at least where it had sunk. And sailors will say when like it still sails on the Lake Superior. They're saying like multiple ships reported seeing a massive freight liner in the fog. So, of course, it's that mysterious fog that rolls in. And they talk about how she would just vanish. They'll be like, whose big ship is like, even the Coast Guard was known to like kind of call and say, who are you? Identify yourself, I don't know if they really do that, but they're like, hey, you're a big ship and you're coming towards me. Possible. I don't know.
Right.
And then she would just vanish. And divers have explored around the wreck, but they can't bring up the bodies like you were talking about.
Right.
They said that a lot of them would report that they would dive where the ship is, and they would feel like somebody was watching them the whole time.
Wow.
And they'd also hear phantom bells ringing, like the bells on the ship.
Really?
And their lights and stuff like that would flicker if there were ships like sailing over the wreckage. They'll hear the ship's horn. And I think the ship's horn is like really, it's kind of ominous. What do like kind of haunting? Yeah. Like I always get like a chill every time I hear a foghorn, it's like, yeah, I do. I think it's just in my lineage, because my mom's side of the family they're sailors. So
okay.
I don't know, but yeah, fishermen, apparently it's like Whitefish Bay claim to hear the horn as well offshore. Yeah, and sometimes I guess the last really bad shipwreck, or the first one, was the Bannockburn, and that was lost in 1902. And they called that the Flying Dutchman of the Great Lakes, which was pretty interesting to hear. Yeah, I didn't find anything like you were asking about the bell and if it was haunted or anything like that. I would think it is, just because that's from the ship. That's got to have that energy of what happened.
The bells are so they're like the cockpit in the airplane. I mean, they're very personal to the ship. And I lived in a little town in Pennsylvania where they made all those bells. They still have the bell manufacturing plant there. Like Liberty Bell, all these bells are made there in this tiny little post stamp town. And that's like, it's really remarkable. But all the ship's bells and all the big clock tower bells and everything are made in this little town. And each bell has its own sound. They're so unique. Yeah.
AC/DC had a specialized bell made there just for just for one album.
Did you know there really is a Hell, Michigan?
Yeah, there is. So Bernie, you had, I think you had some superstitions that I wanted to hear about.
Yeah. So we were doing we decided to do this episode on ghost ships, and I was going to do one on the Flying Dutchman. And it occurred to me that sailors have a ton of superstitions, and like things that they do on the ship, or they weren't allowed to do things on ships. Like, for instance, back in the olden days, they weren't allowed to whistle on ships because superstition is that you would essentially make the seas angry and it would whip up a storm. Then on the other hand, captains didn't want you whistling on the ship because that could be a form of communication which would probably start a mutiny, because a little sharp little like Morse code and whistle. You're talking back and forth with each other, and the captain doesn't know what you're doing, but you're pretty much saying.
I know that's a little. Anyway.
But some good luck things would be fishermen salting their nets to get a better catch. One of the things I didn't know is that cats are good luck on ships, especially black cats.
Yeah.
And polydactyl cats were even more prized because sailors thought that because of more toes, they could catch more rats or mice or whatever on the ships. See, I didn't know that cats were allowed on ships. I thought that was like really bad luck.
No.
Sharks following ships are bad. Apparently, they're
what's bad? Oh,
sharks following ships.
Jaws following ships.
Falling on ships. I'm like, what's happening? Okay, gotcha. Yeah, but dolphins are good luck.
Dolphins are good luck.
Real good luck.
Flowers weren't allowed on ships because flowers were for funerals. So if anybody that brought flowers on board, like say it was like a bon voyage gift for a sweetheart on the ship, it wouldn't get on the ship.
You know, that's where Titanic went wrong.
Oh, the flowers, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was pretty customary for if the flowers got on board, it went right to a higher up, and they're like, "Yeah, I'll give it to them." And as soon as she turns her back, overboard it went because it was considered super bad luck. What was it? You can't step on a ship with your right foot.
Left foot.
When boarding a ship.
No, with your left foot. You step on with your right.
Oh, okay. Step on. Now we just get those confused. Yeah, women weren't allowed on ships.
Yep, for a long time.
But however, if there was a woman on a ship and the sea was getting choppy and bad and the storm was coming in, if she went topless, that was supposed to calm down the seas, which is strange. But also strange that women weren't allowed on ships, but in the olden times, they always had like a bust of a woman carved on the front of their ship.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
So, what's some of the other ones? Whistling.
You said redhead.
I did find a paranormal sort of thing.
Yeah.
And it's a mystical sprite, like a kobold or like a dwarf. And it's called a called a Klabuterman.
And Clemessy. That's what it is.
Oh, what?
It's the messy. Those
it's
dwarfs are called messies.
And it's from Germany, and some of the ships would carve this little dwarven sailor man with a pipe, and his job was to keep the sailors safe. So I found that interesting. And yeah, I never heard of that before.
I think it goes back all the way to like Viking times. They had their own little idols and stuff like that they would sail with or had around their neck, as protection. So
yeah, a lot of that. This was, I think, it was saying it's comes from German. So I found that interesting. Lots of patron saints, symbols, stuff like that. So, Colleen, you served on a ship before. What are some of the superstitions and customs and stuff like that? There's a lot.
There's a lot. There's just a lot, and I don't know if some of them are just from the Navy or some of them are just like worldwide. You know what I mean? You covered most of them. I think you did bring up the redhead. Redheads on board ship are supposed to be bad luck, but there's a whole lot of redheads in the Navy, so I think that was kind of bunkus.
Maybe because they don't have souls.
It's true.
It's
true.
I don't know. I think a lot of the whole whistling thing is interesting to me because I know so many people, so many sailors, they whistled all the time. So it was just part of they just whistled, and I don't know.
Didn't the dwarfs
whistle while they work?
Whistle while you work? Yeah.
Yeah, they were in mine. I wonder if they
get you a Shetland pony for Christmas.
Huh?
One of those miniature.
A miniature.
Oh, I kill me. I kill me.
Kill you.
Hey, did I happen to tell you about the joke about the squirrel?
No.
I didn't tell you that one? Don't worry about it. It really stinks. Don't worry about it.
You can't do that.
Yeah, I lost everything. Hello?
Did I tell you the joke about the skunk?
You said
really
squirrel.
You said a squirrel.
Did I say squirrel?
You said
You
a
ruined your-
squirrel, and we're all
You
like,
ruined your joke.
It's just
before it
nuts.
started.
It's just nuts.
Look, it's been a long day. I'd appreciate if you just kind of ease up on me.
You have a ghost ship that you wanted to talk about.
Hey, so you were talking about the Dutchman. That's like the most famous ghost ship, isn't it?
Yes.
The most talked about.
The Flying Dutchman. Well, yeah, I came across a couple of things. It's not only the name of a ship, but it's the nickname a captain got. And while you were talking about the Edmund Fitzgerald, it was just it was almost connecting the dots for the story of the Flying Dutchman. One of the superstitions is that once you name a ship, you can never rename it. You have to go through certain ceremonies to rename a ship.
Right.
And when somebody said, it's the Titanic of the West, I'm like, already cursed. And then you're saying that the captain, when he set sail, he said it would take 2 weeks. It only took a week. And I'm like, that sounds like the story of the Flying Dutchman, because it's almost the same exact thing. Is that
I wonder what happened with poor Skunk when he named it Jenny.
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 Yeah.
Got shut in the buttocks.
But another thing is that they set sail, and when they were getting close to the southern coast of Africa, they're looking for this place called the Cape of Good Hope. And while the story goes, as they were looking for it, a squall came in, and they could not get into port. And the captain, basically screamed up to the heavens. He's like, I'm not going to give up until I get into port. And the story goes, as soon as he said that, and one story says that an angel came down and said, well, you cursed the heavens. So therefore, you're stuck sailing the seas for 7 years. And then the other side of the story goes, he made a deal with the devil that he would find port, but at the end of 7 years, he would get his soul. And some of the legends go, when you make a deal with the devil, you have a 7-year contract with him. And then in the 7 years, that's it. He comes and gets you. So
is that what happened to Jack Sparrow?
Probably.
Right?
No, he had
Johnny
100
Depp,
year, No, he had a 100-year lease with Scientology. That's what happened to him. So that's where he went.
Wait. He's not into that stuff, too.
No, he's not.
Oh, God. Thank you.
He doesn't even know what he's into.
I know.
He's a guitar player, and he drinks rum.
I know. You know how when you're married, you maybe this is, you talk to your spouse about the one that you would let them stray to? Like, who would be the one? Like, I would let my spouse stray to one person, right? It would be their dream, right? Their dream, if they had it. Do you know what I'm talking about, Mad Max? Mud Lover? Do you know? Who would be the one? Well, Johnny Depp would be my one. He'd be the one.
That's what the one kids call a hall pass.
If given the opportunity, Yeah.
You know who my hall pass would be?
Who?
Mud Lover.
Aww. Mud Lover's going, yeah, I don't know. Johnny Depp's looking, I don't know.
She says, he's not getting any prettier. He's got a pretty good personality, but I think I'll keep him.
Oh my God. So what is it? I don't know what it is about ghost ships that fascinate us so much. I don't know if it's certainly we haven't heard much about the Bermuda Triangle in years now.
Yeah.
Right?
Like it was in the 70s, the 60s, 70s, 80s. I mean, maybe even
Well, even the early 2000s, I think, too, as they started doing more about the Bermuda Triangle on Discovery Channel.
I remember first hearing about it on Unsolved Mysteries, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And then early 2000s, I think the Discovery Channel did a huge, couple nights series on it. I think they did a documentary. Yeah, a big documentary on it.
Anymore. I mean,
that's true.
Now that nobody talks about it anymore.
I mean,
Unsolved Mysteries.
Did ships and planes and everything, are they not disappearing there anymore because our technology's better than whatever was screwing with the technology of the time?
Hmm.
I don't know.
That's a good point.
Or they're not being reported.
Yeah.
I mean, with all the technology and all the safety equipment now,
because people used to.
If they disappear, there'd be like something going off and sending like signals up to satellites and whatever else going. We're gone. Come find us, type of deal.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So now maybe because we're on more satellite controlled technology, it's not being screwed with as much anymore, and so ships aren't losing their way and things aren't happening to them like they used to. I think with aircraft, there's still some problems with that area. It's small aircraft still have some problems in that area, and I don't know what it is. It could be something I don't know. There are electromagnetic fields all over the earth, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it can screw with equipment. And even things like in the Sierra Nevadas, there's a lot of magnetite on the western slope of the Sierras. And when you fly over them, sometimes it can screw with your compass and all of your equipment in your aircraft. Because you're at a low altitude when you're VFR visual.
Mm-hmm.
You're at a lower altitude than when you're a commercial jet, at 30,000 feet. So you're being affected by stuff a little bit differently than a commercial jet. So I don't know. It's interesting to me how it just went. No one talks about it anymore.
Yeah. Well, they talked about, excuse me, with ships and boats, they talked about that was a big methane dump.
Yep.
And it would release, and that was the part that would actually, the boats, it would deoxygenate the water, and the boats would actually fall, they would fall because when you take the oxygen out of the water, that's part of the water's, water's got three parts, right? What are those? What is 2 parts hydrogen, 1 part oxygen.
Right.
So when you deoxygenate the water, you that's what kind of makes your boat float a little bit. And that's why they said, yes, I know. I was actually going there in my head too about making your boat float. But that's why they said so many boats. And then they talked about the aircraft, like you talked about a little while ago, the way it's magnetized there. There was also a thought process, especially like Jesse was talking about a little bit a while ago. There's UFO bases down there that would disrupt some air flight. They talked about guys that would have flown into a particular interesting cloud, and their 3-hour flight was only 45 minutes.
And they lost time.
Yeah, exactly. Or they gained time in some instances. There was that squadron. Pardon?
The squadron, the Avengers. They all went in together.
Avengers. Yeah,
and were never seen again. They've never found those aircraft.
One of the other common theories is like you said, it's a methane dump. So
right.
The methane comes up, it goes up to the surface of the ocean, and then it pops and it becomes an air pocket. And one of the common theories is that air pocket's rising. When the plane comes in, it chokes the engine because planes don't run on methane. They need oxygen. And once the oxygen's gone,
there's no air. There's no airflow. I mean, they hit like a brick wall.
Yeah, and then they go down.
And it's funny, the Avengers, the older technology of some of those airplanes, that was just all that was a flying motor. That's all it was. Yeah. So these some of those old motors are some of the same motors that they had in friggin' trains, in tractors back in the time. So it's just a motor, and they are air cooled. Just like Bertie's saying. So you're right. That deoxygenation happens a lot. And, who knows? It's one of those things. I don't know specifically how deep the triangle is, but you never know. I mean, it's one of those things that it's interesting. It's, but I've always wondered. So if we've lost aircraft and ships, have we ever seen a submarine through there? And I wonder what would happen in a submarine.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure that.
I don't know. Maybe it'd be like the ship, except it'd just go.
The deepest point of the Bermuda Triangle is the Milwaukee.
They're built to take on water and float, so I don't think it would actually affect them too much. Yeah. But they might like drop. Like turbulence in the air.
There would be a lot of. The depth of the Bermuda Triangle at its deepest point is the Milwaukee depth within the Puerto Rico Trench, and it reaches approximately 27,500 feet.
Interesting.
That's pretty damn deep. I mean, much of the seafloor around it, the Bermuda Triangle, is at 19,000, but then they have that big trench there. So, I don't know. The methane could be. I don't know. That's plausible. But those releases are still going on because the sea is always belching. So how come we're still not having issues in the Bermuda Triangle?
So maybe it's like you talked about. Maybe it is number one. I'm sure that they have adjusted their plans not to go through there. Now I do know that there's certain areas that they just do it, and maybe those boats try and stay to the outer edges of it, perhaps. I just looked it up. 27,000 feet, 5 miles.
Some of those seafloor releases, and there are no navigator around them now. If they're a known area of release.
Yeah, I don't know. I do know that, and I have heard that aircraft deviate when they come up in that area. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure that boats, that kind of stuff. There you go. Exactly. You're absolutely right, Ramona. It's, some things don't happen in one place, but some things happen in other places. So,
right.
There's also. There's another triangle.
The Alaskan Triangle.
There's the Alaska, but there's another one back east somewhere.
Yeah.
It's in New York State.
Yeah.
New Jersey. It's where the New Jersey Devil hangs out and all that.
Bridgewater Triangle.
Bridgewater.
There you go. Yeah. There you go. There's stories about that where people have kind of fallen behind on the trail or kind of sped up on the trail, and their group will meet up with, and they're not even there.
Yeah.
So the Bridgewater Triangle is pretty. The Alaskan Triangle, isn't that?
Hold on.
There you
go. Talking about the triangle,
right?
Well, the Alaskan Triangle is supposed to be a UFO base, isn't it?
Well, I don't know because there's a Bigfoot. There's Bigfoot anomaly up there. I mean, there's a lot of Bigfoot in the Alaskan Triangle. Trees that are up, like big trees, pines that have been uprooted and turned over, and then their tips shoved down into where the roots would have been, and the roots are way up.
Oh my!
Yeah, there's all kinds of weirdness, but we've lost a lot of aircraft in the Alaskan Triangle. Now, aircraft go down in Alaska constantly.
Yeah.
Because you have such bad weather up there. Freezing, you have carb freezing going on. Your carburetors will freeze up on the airplanes. I mean, there's just a lot of problems, right?
Rain,
With flying in
constant
Alaska.
rain.
And Alaska weather is completely unpredictable.
Right. And so
Mhm.
that's to be kind of expected up there, but the Alaskan bush pilots are phenomenally good.
Oh yeah.
But there are areas up there, that Alaskan Triangle, where we've lost quite a number of even military aircraft go down up there. So yeah, it's kind of weird. Yeah.
Yeah. Because, and even a lot of that whole Alaska. I mean, there was a show that we watched a couple of years ago, and there's like the last part of Alaska. There's a prison up there, and they built this prison specifically up there because you break out. There's no place for you to go.
Nowhere to go.
You know, so I can imagine.
There's one like that in Arizona, right?
Mhm.
I'm
Like
sorry?
out in the desert of Arizona.
I know there's.
Right.
You're frozen. Are you
I know,
having a stroke?
everybody is.
Do this.
Who?
What?
I know that some of the there's a big prison, and I can't remember where it is, but you're right, and it's just out in the middle of no friggin' where. And yeah, you know these. So I was on a fire years and years ago, and they had CDC had showed up with their crews, and the CDC guys wore. When you see guys on that are dressed in orange on fires, those are usually inmate crews.
Inmates, yeah.
Right. So Forest Service wears green pants.
Right.
Fire usually wears, like yellow brush gear. But you'll see the CDC guys in there in orange. And we're on this fire, and this guy decided, I'm out. And he walked for 2 days. And he ended up walking back and got back on the fire. He's like, nah, man. No, there's no place out there. And there was nothing out there for him to do. It was, I mean, I can't imagine, okay, I'm out, full head of steam, and then 2 days later, I'm like, I'm going to have to turn around.
I'm back.
Yes.
My bag of sandwiches is gone.
Yeah.
There's too many spiders and scorpions and snakes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm telling you,
the prison drink's all gone.
In NorCal, the prison fire crews, they work their butts off.
Yeah,
they do a really good job, man. I mean, they're very good fire crews. Because we have some, million-acre burns going on in California now, up in NorCal. And so, yeah. Oh, Ramona, you're in Arizona, yeah. Yeah, I think, wasn't it Joe Arpaio's prison where he made him wear all pink?
Maricopa County.
Gospel music. And, yeah. I mean, they were like, I won't ever reoffend. I don't want that.
I'll never do it.
They were doing an interview with him, and they were talking to some inmates, and they were all pissy because they're living in those
Tents.
in tents, yeah. And so they're talking, and he turns over to this guy and he goes, "Well, didn't I just give you guys back salt?"
Well, like, if our troops can live in 140-degree weather in Afghanistan in tents, then you can too. I mean,
that's right.
If you don't like this country club, then don't do something to make you come here.
And you don't even wear half of the gear they wear.
I know, exactly. You're not doing what you're doing. You're just laying around.
You got to remember, they're just wearing like a T-shirt and a scrub shirt, and that's it.
Yeah.
And socks.
And
those guys,
no pants.
They got their full kit on and everything. 24 hours a day.
I know we started with ghost ships. Let's see, how much time do we have? 5 minutes. I know, I love the rabbit trails. So I did find a story on one that happened. When was this? It was called, and I hadn't heard of this one before.
It might be Ramona.
Might be. Perryville.
Perryville? Maybe, yeah. There's this ghost
Sounds
ship
magical.
MV Joyita, and I had not heard about this one. And this was 1931. She was launched. She was a 70-foot luxury yacht, actually.
A yacht.
Actually. Launched in 1931. owned originally by a Hollywood director, and then was sold to another man.
Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell.
Yeah, right? And then she was actually used by the United States, kind of started using some of these ships as Pacific patrol boats during the war. A lot of the ships were basically put into military action. And so she would patrol around Hawaii, and she didn't really have any damage to her during the whole patrol, like minor stuff that you would expect. And by the end of the war, in the 1950s, she was being used as a fishing charter vessel. And she had a crew of 19, and let's see. Oh, there was something really interesting about her. So she was made, her hull was cedar planked, but then she was lined with cork to make her even more buoyant. So she was a really unusual built ship. And she was super lightweight. And they said that there was really nothing that could cause her to sink. So she left Samoa to sail to the Tokelau Islands. And I'm going to show you where that is because I had to look it up. I'm like, where are we even at?
Somewhere magical.
Let's see. Here we go. So she left here to go here, which isn't that far. Wait, can you see it? Why isn't it showing it? Okay, there it is.
It's right there. Okay.
So, can you see it?
Yeah, look at all those volcanoes.
Here to sail to here, which wasn't far. And she's about 15 nautical miles from this little island here. And she disappears. The crew is gone. And she's found floating. And no one knows what happened to the crew. The vessel was undamaged. And another merchant ship called the Tuvalu was sailing towards that island. And they kept trying to radio the ship, and no one would answer. They get up and beam the ship. There's no crew. The the dinghy was gone. The lifeboat was gone. And to this day, they can't figure out what happened. She had sufficient fuel to operate. One of the engines, but when they left the island, when they left Samoa, she had two engines. One of the engines had been damaged, but because it was such a short sail, they thought that they could get where they were going just fine with the other engine because they were both huge engines. So they did find that there was a working engine still. The other one just repaired because they were disassembling it to put it back together again, figure out what was wrong with it. On the trip, they found bloody bandages on the deck and a doctor's medical bag, but nothing else. No crew, no notes, no nothing. The radio was set to the international distress frequency, but an SOS or Mayday was never sent, and no one to this day knows what happened to the crew. They were never found.
Wow.
I wonder if that was a 3-hour tour that went wrong.
God, you never know, right?
It could have been it.
Gilligan's Island.
Yeah.
It was the professor with the wrench in the cabin.
It was.
I wonder if they were kidnapped or something. Like, I wonder if there was pirates or something.
Yeah,
but why leave a perfectly gorgeous boat just laying there?
Yeah, she had 25 people on board.
So, but if you think that they had that amount of people on board and they were kidnapped, don't you think there'd be ransom for them if they're pirates?
Something.
Yeah.
Something. And why wouldn't the pirates just take the ship? I mean that's what they're after.
Yeah.
Maybe they were kind of forced into slavery. I don't know, because back in the day, I know that they used to kidnap guys from bars, and they would kidnap them and they would make them mates on a friggin' boat.
Yeah.
You know, they would kidnap these guys. They would get them drunk or high or whatever, and these poor bastards would wake up and they're on a boat.
Yep.
And you had to earn I don't want to say the captain's respect, but you had to earn something, so much money or do so much work to get off that boat. And most of the time they never did.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't know. These stories are always really perplexing to me because why would you leave a perfectly good vessel?
Right.
It
Yeah.
wasn't sinking. It wasn't injured. They had plenty of fuel to make it. They had the one working engine would have made it no problem. They said when they analyzed everything, they said that it was only 50 miles away from the island they were trying to head to, and they would have had plenty of fuel to get there. There was no reason. They don't know why there was bloody rags on deck. They don't know what happened. Like, did they all start fighting and then? But where are the bodies? Like, what happened?
I was going for like a hunting party of cannibals off another island and just happened to see that boat and like
It's possible.
they're like, hey, look, delivery.
Yeah.
It's Dingy Dash, not DoorDash.
Well,
That's just wrong. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm going to go with Gilligan's Island.
Yeah.
Gilligan's Island. Yeah. Yeah. Well, anyway, and this was a fun episode. I enjoyed it. Thank you guys for tuning in to us tonight, and hope up in your ear next week. Yeah, so let's see. Monday we have the Thin Line. I don't know. We're probably doing a road trip, and then we have our live show Wednesday night for psychic medium readings, and then we'll see you again next Thursday with another show. Our class does start tomorrow night. There's a
Oh yeah.
If you are at all thinking about taking the paranormal class at ISU in Pocatello, starts at 6 p.m. You can sign up at the College of Technology. I think there was like 5 seats left. Last time I checked, that was a couple of days ago. So there should be some seats left if you want to take the class. It's 5 weeks long, Friday nights from 6 to 8 p.m. The last night of class is an investigation. So we give you all the tools to do the investigation, and then we've cut you loose with all the equipment and the team, and you get to do your investigation. And we're hoping for a new building tonight on that one.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That's a great class too.
Yeah.
It is.
It's a lot of fun.
It is.
So,
Absolutely.
okay, everybody. You guys take care, stay safe, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.